Hello everyone, Krydax is here and he is ready for some Season 3. Don't you worry, I hope you are too. Hopefully we have enough pure sand. Still not quite everything we want, but it's something. Okay, so in this episode we were gonna work on Vrauks, and I think we had finished everything with the phosphorus and phosphoric acid. And now it's just a matter of waiting for sand. And we overbuilt it big time. We don't even need this stuff yet, so, and we've already got 67k of the phosphorus acid, so it should be pretty soon. It'll just be a few more shipments of sand that will get that going. And now that we're making more sand than we need for glass, oh no, we're not. Oh gosh. Really? We're still running out. The sun is warming up. Are you serious? Huh. Gosh. I shouldn't need more than this. For the glass. Yeah, I mean, we're making 2,000 a minute steady right now. But why does it drop lower sometimes? What was that about? Are there other places we're making pure sand? That could be it. Wait, that doesn't even show up there. It's called sand washing. Yeah, we're making pure sand here too. Oh, I see. Okay, so this has pure sand in it as well. That's getting, well, that's freebie. I guess that's coming from waste gravel. Yeah, that's coming from waste gravel. Okay. Well, that's fine. I mean, that's a good thing. That's what we want. But that's adding some more to the pot. And that should be all the pure sand we're getting. So I may end up needing more than this even, which is crazy to think about. Goodness. Also, shouldn't the glass be catching up someday? It just feels like it should be. How am I using this much glass all the time? Doesn't feel right. It don't feel right. I mean, I'm requesting 50 stacks of pure sand, so there should always be 2 trains on the way, and we order another train as soon as we get down to 30 stacks. So I think the buffer's big enough for that. I could go another 10 if we need to, just to make sure it's not a buffering problem. Yeah, I don't think that's the issue. There's some benzene. Yummy, yummy. Okay, we're not actually accomplishing anything just by looking around. Let's work on Vrauks. So we were doing this build, and we were gonna do this over, where were we gonna, over here, I think? Looks like a nice fresh area. This bitumen seep will need to have something on it. I'll put that there. That's gonna get right in the way too. That's where I was gonna build stuff. So that is unfortunate. I could just say screw it and not build on that bitumen seep. But they are useful. We're talking 100 free tar or natural gas or crude oil per second. So it does feel kind of bad to build over one, but there's so many more around the base. Maybe I do ignore it. There's one right there. Yeah, I think I just ignore it. Or maybe we can build around it. I can maybe build the 2 sets of Vrauk pens here and here. Yeah. Oh, but there's no way I can fit enough of them in here, can I? Well, that is 9. No, I don't like it. I think I want to go vertical. So we'll leave some space on the bottom, and then we'll go like this. 2, 3, 4. So we can sushi. Total items per second is sushiable. Very sushiable. Especially if we stack moss. More than easy enough to sushi here. And then we'll just have the pens, which here should also be hooked up via sushi. Gosh, five reproductive pins alone is like half of a block. These things are massive. It's absurd. It's absolutely absurd. It's 110 units long. Oh my gosh. It's just patently gross. Okay, so I'm thinking, which is always dangerous, but I'm doing it anyway. I'm thinking we just do a sushi around 2, 3. Rather than make it twice as long as necessary. You know, we just do one of these. And then one of these. That seems like a good method for Lushi souping. And I'll go a little bit further down here so we have some more room to access everything. Because total items a second here, you know, between inputs and outputs, we've got 1.7 and we've got 7, 9. Yeah, it's a little high, but if I stack the moss, we should be more than fine. If I stack the moss, and I could even stack the sap, and then we're, you know, cut that in a third, cut that in a third. And now we don't have that many items anymore. And we can put all the barrels, Vrauk food, and Vrauks on one side, and everything else on the other side. Though, I don't know, it's getting pretty close. I guess I could always stack the floor too, but it's spoilage enabled, so I don't know what that does with stacking. I don't know how stacking works with spoilable items, actually. That's an interesting conundrum. Okay, so then what we're gonna do is we're gonna need a decider combinator to request the flora, because I don't want to request flora if we're full on Vrauks anyway. So that feels like a simple save some flora from spoiling setup. And then what we're gonna need is some extra construction range here. Okay, there's that. And then this side is gonna need some. Goodness. Is that good enough? Nope. Okay, that should be good enough. Get everything built here. And then we're gonna import, well, we're gonna need water barreling. How much water? Like 1 barrel a second. So 1 barreling machine can go pretty much anywhere. The moss, let's see. moss and sap can just be put onto a belt. Like so. And I'm okay using stack inserters here. I don't know if the third one, does the third one fit in like that? How does the third one fit? No, the third one, well, yeah, it's never really gonna fit in properly if we're going an extra tile up. Then those don't even fit in properly. Interesting. Okay. So it more needs to go to like here, is that right? No, that's one tile too far. Here. Which means this one has the need to do that. Or this. Something. And then these should be able to make it all the way across. Okay. Although I don't need one of these. So I don't know why I'm building two. Because we've already got the moss and sap. Moss, sap, and then Vrauk food and flora. Okay. And then we need this guy to measure our Vraukage. You're just gonna go, we'll just fill this whole thing up with Vrauks, that's fine. And you're gonna say if Vrauk is greater than, let's see, they stack to 50, 50 times 72, so a completely full chest would be 3,600. So I'll say if we're greater than 3,200, so we have a bit of a delay, then we'll stop requesting. Which means we won't start requesting flora as Vrauks drop below, but... because a train load of Vrauks will be 1,000, so that'll trigger a train load as soon as we drop, you know, we pick up one train of Vrauks. But I don't know if I'm picking up full trains of Vrauks. Anyway, we're gonna output a specific number of flora, which is going to be 2,000. All right. It stacks to 50. So that would be 40 stacks. No. Well, maybe that's only 1,000 seconds of flora. We could probably live with 1,500. The smaller the buffer, the better with stuff like that, because 1,500 is still over 10 minutes of flora. Yeah. But if I guess that's only a buffer of 500 though, because the whole train, so that means the train delay will only have 250 seconds. Yeah, I want a little bit more. I want 100 more seconds than that. Or that's 50 more seconds. Okay, 1,700. That's final offer. All right, so then that comes over and down. This comes over and down. Okay, and then we're gonna need just the classic side load stuff. We don't have enough space here. That's okay, I'll go around this way. Okay. And then all these get hooked up. Though this... no, I want this to be like over here. And then I want our mixer. And I want it to be a decently long mixer. Because the you know, this is a really long belt. So the longer the mixer is, it will space things out slightly better from an early stage. So then these will actually come down and across. Is there a reason I do that? Yeah, it gives me more space down here later. I think that's okay. Okay, so then that covers those 4 items, and then these can all be hooked up to this belt, which will read hold all belts. These are going to be enabled if something's less than something. The barreling, we've got a total rate of, what was it? 1.2. So I think if we have 2 inserters pulling from the thing, that should be more than enough. And then those will load into a chest, which loads into a building. Whoa, you can scooch them over a blueprint. That's really weird. Okay, and then... So we wanted... What did we want? We wanted moss and sap on one side. And I think I want flora on that side too. Is that true? What do we have? Can I put everything else on one? We've got 2, 3, 4, 5. No, that's getting way too tight. If I put flora on the same side as everything else. So flora needs to be on the same side as these guys. And I think that should be okay. Due to stacking. So that means flora actually won't work this way. We actually need to do it more like this. Yeah. So it'll go more like that. So left will be flora here. Wait. Nope, we need to do right will be Vrauk food. Because there's always a chance it's spoiled already. Right? And if we... then we need the spoiled stuff to go onto the correct belt side. And then, don't worry, we'll get spoilage dealt with here in a minute. But we do have a blueprint for that, actually. Somewhere. Do I not? There it is. Flora, Spolinen, Repro. So we should be able to just fit one of these in here and grab. I think I'll just nestle it down here, actually. And that can handle up to 5 in. Cool. It actually couldn't handle that much. The input inserter can only handle 1.2 spoilage per second, which could be a problem, actually. Well, I mean, we have 2 a second, but we're not going to get 2 spoilage a second. We would for a short time until the buffer's gone, but it's not like we'd get 2 spoilage a second constantly. So I think it would be fine because we have this chest here to grab things. That makes it okay. But then the Vrauk food is on the. I want to switch these. Vrauk food's on the right. I just like when you split to the right, the item on the right goes to the right. It's an organizational tool. I think it helps my brain. But yeah, then this is going to input priority left here. And it needs to be on the left side of the belt, which is not natural, so we gotta change that. And then the grabbers for spoiled flora should be something like this. And these need to grab flora, spolinen. Now they shouldn't need to ever grab biomass. Shouldn't be possible for biomass to happen, because flora spolinen needs to exist for 3 hours. And as long as we're outputting freely from buildings, there's no way that the stuff could get stuck in here. Because as soon as the flora spoils, it goes into the trash and then would get output. So I need to make sure buildings are freely outputting, which means I need to control either the buildings themselves or the inserters to stop them from running. And we do need to stop them from running, right? Because we can have too many Vrauk cocoons, or we can have too many Vrauks. So we are going to need to control both sets of buildings based on circuit conditions, I think. Okay, anyway, water here. And the output of water. Okay, and then water is supposed to go onto the same side as Vrauk food, is that right? Vrauk food, water, water, Vrauk should all be on the same side. Those three. Is this gonna work numbers wise? I just don't know how close we're cutting it. 5.2 divided by 3 plus 2.4 divided by 3 plus 2.2. We're cutting it close. We're filling up 2/3 of the belt. So that means when I do the math on like how many should actually be on the belt, I need to be like, I can overestimate by about 20%, but that's about all I should do. Because if I overestimate by 50%, the belt's entirely packed. Okay. Should work itself out still. All right, and don't forget, we're gonna have to pull off some, did I delete it, or is it still sitting here? The Vrauk Mark II. The Vrauk Mark II Elizer, I deconstructed. Okay. It's just 2 Vrauk pins, but I don't remember what goes into it. Uh-oh. I'm glad the game didn't crash. But it does not like something. Interesting. Oh, it has to have something to do with the module, I bet. The Pi beacon thing. Okay, so we're gonna need flora and sap over here, and then water barrels. Okay. So we'll run this as a slightly separate thing. And then... ironically, well, I don't know if ironic is the right word. Ironically, I use the word ironically incorrectly sometimes. I'm just gonna move that over there. Shouldn't mess too much up. The bots will figure it out. I really do wish you could have bots be a little smarter. Like, I wish they could prioritize stored buildings above closer buildings up to a certain distance, right? Like, there's still, again, with that cutoff idea, like, there's still a cutoff somewhere. But at the same time, I think I would like to usually use them first. Okay, we'll just let flora back up here, and we'll also let sap back up. So we'll do that, we'll do this, sap and flora. And sap is on the close, on the left side inline, which means I can do this. And Flora is on the left side in line. So you do this. And we're using cursed underground strategies here, but it'll work. Alright, and there's those two. I'm gonna move this guy to there so that I can scooch these in a little closer. Because we're also gonna need water barrels. Wait, we also need Vrauk food. Why am I doing it this way? Sorry, I've had a moment. Because I need both of these things. The only thing I don't need is moss. But honestly, just for cleanliness sake, I could just bring the whole belt if I wanted, because I already need 2 belts anyway. Goodness. I guess I can bring the water barrels in on this belt. That could be useful. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. So this is currently empty on the right lane. So I also need water barrels on that lane. And then this represents the 2 that we need. Alright, so those go past both buildings. And then we do need to return water barrels here. Uh-oh. Here we go. Okay. Return the water barrels. Done. The other nice thing about this is we don't get any incorrect items. Like, we don't get any Vrauk Mark 1 or Cocoon Mark 1, so I don't have to worry about that, which is ultra convenient. Okay. Closer way to power. Not far. Alright, we're getting close. So we do need to wire up the buildings. Okay, buildings wired up. Enable, disable. So we want... Well, let's measure the size of our belt. Not the size of your belt. That's what you do with it. All right, 18 by... I lost the number. Shoot. 18 by what? Where's the number? It should... Am I blind? It should show up somewhere, doesn't it? On the left side. Oh, there it is, 124. So 18 by 124, so that's 142. We double 142 to get 284. So 284 belt thingies, and again, 1 item per belt segment means 1.875 items per second. So what we need to do is we need to take, we said we want to overestimate by about 20%. So I want to take how many we need. So I want to take 5.22 moss times 1.2. So we need, I actually want that many items per second. Then we need to divide it by 1.875. And then I want to multiply that times the number of belt segments I had, which was 282, 284. So that's actually how many moss we need. So what we could do is roll all those numbers into one number. So I could do 1 times 1.2 divided by 1.875 times 284. And then this is now our magic number, 181.76. So I just take my items per second times that. 181.76. And I can even do that math in here. So like I need 0.435. So I do 0.435 times 181.76. Boom. 79. And I'll always go up by 1, just to make sure we're good on that. So Vrauk food goes to 80. And then the other one with Vrauk food was Flora. Flora is a total of 2.174. 2.174 times 181.76. We'll round up by 5, make it a nice clean number. Let's see, sap was on the left, was that right? Sap is on the left, yes. So sap is on the left, which then goes left. So sap. Total number 2.392. And remember, this is already accounting for the, whatchamacallit, 20% extra. So this should be more than we need, which should be enough to support Vrauk Mark II production when we need it as well. Moss, wait, what am I doing? Moss 5.218. 218 times that. 950. Okay, and then barrels 1.196. $220. All right. That should put the right amount of things on the belts. These need to be pulling empty barrels off the belt. And then that gets loaded into a chest at a rate that should be able to keep up. It's twice as fast. And there's even a little bit of buffer time here, so that should be fine. And then we don't buffer the output, but we shouldn't need to. There's a little bit of runway here. I'm not too worried about that. And then here we need power. We are gonna get fluorospolenen out of these. Annoyingly. So I need to sort that out. We shouldn't get any fluorospolenen that turns to biomass before it gets to here. That shouldn't be possible. I say that now, watch it happen and break the entire Vrauk thing like 40 hours from now. But that should work to reprocess fluorospolenen. And then let's see here. We need an in and an out and an in and an out. Okay. The out filters Vrauk Mark II only. For this one, the out filters Vrauk Mark II and Vrauk Cocoon. And this building runs. What do I need for Mark III? So to roll the dice for Mark III, we need cocoons. We need 1,000,000 cocoons. Oh my gosh. Is this a joke? That is awful. For a 0.4% chance, you need 50 Vrauk Cocoon Mark II? That's absurd. Okay, I don't know. Some of these, I would say on a 0 to 10 scale, like how much do I enjoy all of that? I think the costs, given the variants, feel a bit prohibitive to get to, because the costs are also high to actually make the modules themselves. Like once you've got the Mark IIIs, you still then have to spend all of this to grow up a Vrauk cocoon. So it's not like they're even that cheap in the first place. You know, they're complex and difficult. And then when you add in the module rolling on top of that, it just feels like maybe half a notch too much, you know? So like, I think it knocks down my enjoyment of this mechanic half a peg when you look at how expensive it is to make something like Vrauk Mark III on top of the variants, right? The variants here, 0.4%, and you need 2 of them to start rolling the dice. Now, you're pretty guaranteed from there, but you can even technically fail from there. You only have a 99% chance to get them back. And I guess actually though, well no, you do need a Vrauk Mark III to run this recipe. So if you lost your Vrauk Mark IIIs, you have a 1% chance to lose it all, which would be like the worst thing in the world. I think this would be better if it gave you a guaranteed Vrauk Mark III back, and then a 98% chance at the second one back. That's the same expected value. But that way you're guaranteed to get some cocoons, and the one Vrauk Mark III that you need to keep rolling the dice, or not keep rolling the dice, but to reproduce, or to grow the Mark III cocoons up to adults, is what's happening here. Anyway, all that to say, the variance is huge on top of the costs being huge, and that can be a pretty big feel bad. Like, do I need, you know, because let's see, 500, 5,000 times 2.5, 12,500, 25,000 is the expected amount of Vrauk Cocoon Mark IIs. 25,000. That's 5 steel chestfuls of Vrauk Cocoon Mark II. Like, that's starting to get into crazy territory, in my opinion. Like, that doesn't feel fun. That's kind of an absurd cost. And like, at least if it was a fixed cost, like you were guaranteed after spending a certain amount, you know, that would maybe be like, okay, well, at least I understand like how much it's gonna cost me. But with the variance of the 0.4%, you don't even know how much it's gonna cost you. It could end up costing you triple the expected value or quadruple. We know how that goes. Cough, cough, Fawoji. Someone was asking if we've already seen this succeed, and I'm 90% sure we haven't. Yeah, we've never seen a Fawoji Mark II. It would show up here in the search. So now we're at 400, let's see, 1,300? 1,300 products, no successes. We are truly unlucky. Truly, truly unlucky. It can't go forever. I mean, the funny part is that's, in a literal sense, not a true statement. It can go forever. However, it won't go forever. It's like this weird, like, it is a non-zero chance that it goes literally forever. I mean, if you pick any arbitrary stopping point, it is a 100% chance that we will eventually get there. What am I trying to say? Like, if I picked any amount of rolls, it's a non-zero chance that we could go past it. However, if you pick any amount of Fawoji, there's a 100% chance that you'll eventually get there. because you'll get, it's hard to describe. You guys get what I'm saying. The probability that we get to, you know, we can make the probability arbitrarily low. I'll put it that way. It's not technically 0 that we get to a certain amount of rolls. Okay, are we getting close to getting ready to get this started? I don't think so. So that needs to go there. That needs to go there. Need to make sure those are powered up. This building is enabled if Vrauk Cocoon Mark II is less than 1,000. We'll just let that run. And then this is enabled if Vrauk Mark II is less than 200. And these both should be measuring the chest contents. Okay. Perfect. And then I need to actually put Vrauk Mark IIs into here. Like that. Okay. And then I'm also gonna put a requester chest requesting all the Vrauk Mark IIs that we have in the base, and all the Vrauk Cocoon Mark IIs that we have in the base. Just to clear that out, and I'll have to manually fix that, otherwise they'll move those over. Okay, we're getting there. Gosh, it's already been 40 minutes. This is getting to be a bulky episode. Alright, do we have all these set up? I believe so. We have the fluorsplennin, we have that. That's ready to barrel. That's ready to reprocess. If it ends up turning into fluorsplennin, we should be okay. No, I guess not. We have one more problem. Hold on. We need one more fluorsplennin grabber here. Is that the right belt? Yes. Huh, wait, what did I do here? That's funny. That's what we call an unnecessary splitter. Didn't even process in my brain when I built it. Okay, everything else should be pretty self-explanatory. We just need to run the buildings at the correct moment, which we're gonna rely on connecting some circuitry here. All to this whole belt reader. So those are connected to the whole belt reader. And those are connected to the whole belt reader. So now everything's all connected to the whole belt reader. Glory, glory. Ah, there it is! We got it! First pYanodons Mark II out of 2. We're still not done. That's the funny part. And it took 1,300, and also it's really satisfying that these have all ran perfectly in sync. They all have 441 results. It's just really satisfying I've been able to provide the soil and the fertilizer guaranteed. Anyway, what is that? 1,360? All right, we gotta look up those odds. 1,360. Wow, that is just a number. All right, 0.005, 1,360, number of successes, 0 up until that point. There was a 0.0011. We're talking literally 1 in 1,000. Wow. Only 1 in 1,000 people go this long before their first pYanodons Mark II. And I am that one. I mean, I don't even know, do you think 1,000 people have played this far into pyanodon's? Like, there's a chance I'm the first person that's ever happened to. There's a decent chance I'm the first human that's ever happened to. And it's such a specific thing. It's like football stats. You ever watch a football game? I'm not that into football, don't worry. But you know, sometimes you're watching a sports game and the announcers have to come up with crazy math sets. So they're like, this is the first game, you know, that the leading team has been ahead by 13 or more points when they were down by 20 or more points after the third quarter, but before the last 2 minutes of the fourth quarter. And you're like, wow, that's the first time in the last 100 years that that's happened? Yeah, that's because it's a crazy obscure statistic. There's always obscure statistics. Something unlikely is happening all the time if you want to measure it. So it's just, I've always found that funny. Anyway, so like I might be the first person that's ever taken that long to get a Fuwoji Mark II. But if we were to combine all of my dice rolls into one big pot, the truth is I'm probably somewhere close to the middle of players. And that's kind of what I've been trying to do with my luck tracker. So once we get our second Fuwoji Mark II, we'll enter that into the luck tracker. Anyway, what I'm trying to figure out is, do I want to stop the inserters from inserting into the building for any reason? And I don't think I do. I just need to stop the buildings from running when we get to a certain amount of Vrauk cocoons. And the cocoons need to go on a different side. Uh-oh. Guess what Krydex didn't do. Should be okay. Wait. Oh, shoot. I forgot about the cocoons on the belt. Shoot. Maybe I should stack the flora after all and just put it on the same side. Well, wait a second. So what is this? 1.2, 1.7, well, 2.9, 3.4? No, we can fit it on the same side as the Vrauk food and all that. Yeah. So the Vrauk cocoons will go onto this side, which is the same side as the empty barrels. Yes. Okay. But then fluorospilinin, there's going to be a small enough amount of fluorospilinin. I'm going to say it doesn't matter. Because how often does fluorospilinin actually end up on this? And it'll only get one lap before it gets yanked off the belt by these guys. So fluorospilin's not really a big concern here, I don't think. And then we need input priority left here if that ever matters. Otherwise, I think it could get jammed up somehow. I don't know. But we want this belt to stop while this empties out, if it matters. Anyway, we're gonna need a lot more power poles than this, but I don't think we need any fancy circuitry here. As far as I can tell, we should be okay. And then, is it the same for these guys? The Vrauks and the barrels end up on the same. There's no spoiling. Yeah, it's the same thing here. So, so let's get like a set of 2. They will power both buildings, which is nice. In. Out, onto which side is it again? It's the outer side, so that side. The outer side, yeah. Okay. And then we copy that. Oops, one more. And then we need power. I don't know why I'm doing this manually. Sometimes it's satisfying, like rather than getting it all perfectly blueprinted and then just dragging it and moving on with my life. But sometimes it's satisfying to click 7 times rather than drag something. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like that's what's better. That should do it though. Like, full on, we're done with the Vrauk build, I think? Am I missing anything? I've got input outputs for all buildings. I've dealt with all spoilables. I've dealt with the repro. They are currently requesting all of the items in the base. All our Vrauks belong to us. And I believe this chaos is correct for the sushi belt. We'll see if it ends up working out properly or not. There is a little bit of hesitancy that I have. Do you want to know what it is? It's the fact that when items are getting pulled off of the belt from the stacked versions, that means the belt density is going to go down. Given that we were already at 5 items a second, I think due to that, I'm going to stack the flora too. Which is annoying that I happened to do it this way, because now I'm gonna have to do that. Then this. Then this. All right. How about... No, I want to use up all the flora. Yeah. I was going to say we'd stop this inserter from running, but that's pointless because I'm stopping the sooner source than that. And then that needs to output to here as well. Okay, I think we're good to start requesting. So we need sap. I have no idea how many stacks. Is 30 stacks enough? 143 a minute. 10x. Yeah, because those are 100 apiece. And then we need moss. We're gonna need probably way more than 30 stacks. How many stacks do we have to play with? 144. Flora, that is 34 stacks. So I only have 30 stacks left. Uh-oh. Well, the good news is that's all we need. We need 4 things, so we can have about 30 stacks apiece. So that should be okay. Well, 35. Is that even enough moss, though? That gets me 1,500 extra over 1 train load, but that's 5 minutes, though. That should be enough. 5 minutes is a long time. And now we put in Vrauk food. Which I don't love needing 20 stacks for something, but it'll work out. It's 4 minutes a stack, so nothing crazy here. But yeah, the belt density is going to go down as items get pulled off, and there's no way to like redensify a belt. That is one thing that Dyson Sphere program has that Factorio does not. And that is the ability to stackify things on a belt in line with the belt. Granted, Dyson Sphere program doesn't have stack inserters in the first place, so it's not exactly the same idea here, but it's... Oh, I needed to calculate the Vrauk cocoon number. What do we need? 2.174 times our magic number. And then 0.5 times our magic number. And I'll go up a little higher. This one should be even smaller because we're going to be pulling Vrauks off the belt from here, I guess. I realized I didn't actually do that yet. But yeah, we'll pull these guys off the belt to go over to here. Cool. With any amount of luck, we've done it. Without any amount of luck, we haven't done it. We'll see. But we need to call it an episode here. As always, thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you think down in the comments below, and I'll see y'all in the next one.